Hey everyone, it's FlightOfIcarus with MetalTrenches.com. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. Without further ado, these are three gent progressive metalcore bands that fans of After the Burial should make themselves aware of. Alright, first up we've got the Dali Thundering Project. This is a French quintet who put out their second album, Savages, and actually all these albums just happen to be from 2018, it's kind of coincidence. This is a dystopian concept album of dissonance, ferocity, and discomfort with a powerful message, as the band puts it. I definitely picked up on parallels to After the Burial soon after hearing those trademark harmonic-laced grooves that we've come to love and appreciate on the lead single, The Myth of Happiness, which they made a music video for, and it was pretty interesting to watch. And really, even the vocals sound very similar. Like, had I not been paying attention to who I was listening to, if this shuffled into my playlist, I might think it was After the Burial, though they take it a little bit proggier and in some different directions. But there is a nice mix of aggressive and melodic material, also some kind of Sixth and Meshuggah influences, which is kind of a trend you're going to see in all three of these recommendations. And they also bring in quite a bit of jazz influence, complete with saxophone and trumpet accompaniment later on. Highly recommend checking these guys out. Next up, we've got Jonestown, which is a group out of Brighton, UK, and their album is called Diet Love. It came out via Long Branch Records. And as I was thinking of this album, I just saw the movie Us a little while back, and Jonestown kind of reminds me of The Tethered, because they're sort of like the shadow version of After the Burial. If you just took After the Burial's kind of darkest, most primal, aggressive moments and distilled them all down into one album and kind of just weeded out the more melodic, upbeat, beautiful kind of moments, you get Diet Love. Like, this is a much darker album in keeping with the concept and the names that we associate with it. I mean, Diet Love we associate with like cannibalism, and Jonestown we associate with this horrible cult massacre that happened. So needless to say, this is not going to get into those like really gorgeous melodic solos. It's much more straightforward, balls to the wall, scaled back stuff. But even so, it's still very catchy. I had a really hard time putting this album down. I listened to it over and over and over again when it was in my rotation, and I'm looking forward to actually going back to it again because it's been a little while. Very consistent, supremely heavy. Probably the heaviest album on this list. And then last but not least, we've got Letters from the Colony. And I'm definitely throwing you something a bit more proggy here. I'm kind of stretching what it means to sound like After the Burial. This is a Swedish band, and they kind of combine metalcore, prog, death metal, and jazz again on this album Vignette, which is really incredible. And while I normally shy away from covering Nuclear Blast releases, given their already wide level of exposure and the kind of reach that they have as a label, I still felt like these guys were not really getting the attention that they deserve. I don't hear anyone really talking about them. It's not a name that you hear floating in the ether. When you think Nuclear Blast, there's like a handful of big bands that your mind tends to go to. And so I was kind of pleased to see the label take more of a chance on sort of relative unknowns, and I think they still deserve more attention. Their sound, again, kind of exists somewhere between Meshuggah and Sixth. I also picked up on a lot of sort of car bomb type notes on here. Very accomplished songwriting and performances. And ultimately, it was one of my favorite albums of the year. It goes all over the place. I feel like there's something for kind of everyone to enjoy on this album. And it sort of takes the basic blueprint of what After the Burial does and branches way out into some different, exciting territory. So if you like things that also take that proggier edge, then definitely check out Letters from the Colony. And that's it. I hope I brought you something that maybe you weren't aware of yet. Maybe you'll walk away from this and actually go find the album, buy it, add it to your Spotify, whatever. That's what this is all about. And then, of course, enjoy that After the Burial album when it comes out. Killer band, keeping it simple, but still just plugging along, doing their thing, making great music. Let me know what you think about all these releases and what you think of After the Burial in the comments. Again, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, then please hit the like button. But for now, that'll be it. This is Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.